In the bustling heart of New Delhi, the air was thick with anticipation and concern as India's economic analysts gathered for a crucial meeting. The recent announcement from Washington had sent ripples through the corridors of power and trade offices alike. A 27% tariff on a wide range of Indian imports. This decision was not merely a number. It was a potential turning point in the economic relationship between the world's largest democracy and the United States, a relationship that had been nurtured over decades. As the analysts sifted through reports and data, the gravity of the situation became clear. The tariffs would impact textiles, pharmaceuticals, and machinery, sectors that formed the backbone of India's export economy. The room buzzed with discussions about the immediate effects: rising costs for Indian exporters, a potential decline in competitiveness in the global market, and the looming threat of retaliatory measures. Yet, amidst the anxiety, there was a flicker of resolve. India had faced challenges before, and this was no different. The lead economist, a seasoned veteran of trade negotiations, stood up to present a comprehensive analysis. The U.S. tariffs will initially strain our trade balance, he began, his voice steady despite the concern etched on his colleagues' faces. However, we must consider the long-term implications. This could be an opportunity to diversify our export markets and reduce our dependency on a single economy. We can't let this tariff be the end of our ambitions. The group nodded, absorbing the wisdom of experience. The economist continued, emphasizing the importance of resilience and adaptation. We should also explore bilateral negotiations, not only to mitigate the impact of these tariffs, but to lay the groundwork for a more favorable trade agreement by 2025. The U.S. is a large market, and our relationship with them is vital for our economic growth. As discussions progressed, the analysts began to outline a strategic response. They envisioned a multifaceted approach that included engaging with U.S. lawmakers and trade representatives, highlighting the mutual benefits of a robust trade partnership. They would need to showcase India's strengths: a young workforce, a growing consumer market, and a burgeoning tech sector. The narrative of India as a reliable and innovative partner needed to be amplified. Meanwhile, the government was already in motion. Diplomatic channels were opened, and trade missions were planned to visit Washington. Indian officials were tasked with crafting a message that resonated with American interests. They could highlight how India's economic growth could serve as a counterbalance to China's influence in the region, and how a strong trade relationship could foster stability and security in Asia. However, the analysts were aware that navigating the complexities of U.S. politics would not be easy. The domestic pressures within the U.S. were palpable, with various interest groups advocating for protectionist measures. Yet, they believed that, with the right approach, they could turn the tide. They needed to emphasize collaboration over confrontation, focusing on shared goals such as job creation and technological advancement. As the meeting drew to a close, a sense of optimism began to replace the initial anxiety. The analysts committed to a timeline, aiming to present a well-researched proposal to the U.S. by mid-2024, allowing ample time for negotiations and adjustments. They envisioned a future where the tariff could be reduced and a comprehensive trade agreement could be forged, one that would benefit both nations. In the coming weeks, India's strategy began to take shape. The government engaged in consultations with industry leaders, gathering insights and forging alliances. The message was clear. India was not merely a victim of tariffs, but a proactive player in the global economy, ready to negotiate and adapt. As 2025 approached, the groundwork laid during those early meetings bore fruit. The dialogue between the two nations intensified, culminating in a series of negotiations that would redefine their economic relationship. The analysts who had once gathered in a room filled with uncertainty now found themselves at the forefront of a transformative moment in trade history, where resilience and diplomacy would pave the way for a new era of cooperation.